Hello everybody! Ching 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 and welcome to the Creative Smartphone Photography Show here on Facebook and the Creative Smartphone group and the SAB Paris Facebook page, and I've got lots of good photographs to show to you today. This is the bit of the show, it's kind of funny because nobody actually sees it, because before I go live there's nothing to watch, so people aren't watching unless it's live, and by the time they notice it's live I've said this introduction, so no one actually hears me saying hello and welcome to the Creative Smartphone Photography Show. I'm really happy you're here, and we're going to look at some of your beautiful photographs on the week's theme, which was an amazing, wonderful theme: rust. How cool could that be? Rust, like my bones, rusty, rusty. So we're gonna look at your photographs. We're gonna look at some of mine, except I've got a problem. Let me show you the problem. This is the smartphone photography group, and this is the page with my photographs on. So just check out my beautiful photographs from this week. Don't they look amazing? It was variation on two small blue dots. I hope you appreciate it. So that's not working, so I'm going to have to do it some other way. Yeah, so the theme was rust, and this was a great theme. Please give me more themes like rust. Lots of people contributed and it was very inspiring. I didn't manage to get out to a graveyard, which I wanted to, because Thomas took some really great photographs. He took a great photograph of it was a rusty cross or something like that. That gave me the idea that there's lots of rust in old graveyards. I didn't have time to get out, so that's not very impressive. So say hello. Someone said hello, but it's Vespina Yaruska. Yaruska, how are you today in sunny Peru? Hay sol in Peru hoy? Uno. Alice, hello Alice. We're just talking about rust. How does that make us feel, eh? Like my joints are rusty, so we've got some really nice rusty pictures. So Yaruska and Alice, hello, how are you doing? Say hello. We've just started. You haven't missed anything except the introduction that no one ever sees. So let me show you what it's like. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Creative Smartphone Photography Show. And we're going to talk about photographs. Hello Dorothy, we're going to talk about photographs. Right, so let's do that, shall we? Instead of me wittering on, I'll show you one of mine first, shall I? I'll show you today's. Today's photograph was, where is it? Here we are. This is today's photograph. Karen, hello Karen, nice to have you there. Here, wherever you are. In snowy Canada. Was it you that told me that, or was it Kirsten who told me that the snow has finally fallen properly? I think it was Kirsten, and she was shoveling snow today. So this is today's photograph of the day, and I don't often post photographs which are just purely architectural, with no human interest, with no sort of strange juxtaposition. It's a straightforward, well, as straightforward as my shots get, architectural shot. Having said that, it's a pretty darned impressive entrance, don't you think, to a little Parisian apartment? This is where I stay, this is where I live, it's my little apartment, just a little pad that I found. No, it's actually it says Bourse de Commerce, and it's round. Oh yeah, it's round, and the buildings going around it are round too. So, Bath's Royal Crescent, eat your heart out. You can see it's round because you can see the curve here. Even though the big frontispiece is extremely, imposing and stuff, you can see it's a round building. It was the old corn exchange and other commodities. So it says Bourse de Commerce. So it was for exchanging stuff, and it's round because, like the stock exchange in London and stuff like that, literally in the old days there were people on a round floor surrounded by people in the galleries, sort of signalling buyers and sellers and making strange signs, and nobody knew what the hell was going on, but they did, which was pretty amazing. So it's this round building with a kind of open floor, and around it you have the balconies where the traders and stuff and the buyers stood, or the people on the phone to the buyers. Pretty cool. So that's today's photograph of the day. And I'll give you another one. Yeah, I'll give you another one here. So this was yesterday. And it's inside a beautiful Parisian church. Say hello, by the way. Who else have we got? Oui, beaucoup de soleil, says Yaruska in Peru. Well, you know, pas beaucoup de soleil en France aujourd'hui. Not much sun at all in France, except I didn't go out, so I'm not sure if that's 100% true. Chris, hello Chris. How are you doing? Just been putting some of your folks' photographs up in the galleries. Check them out. Yeah, so this is inside a beautiful church in Paris. It's called l'Église Saint-Eustache. Saint-Eustache Church. And I was wandering around it and seeing various things. It was a bit of, I think there was an earthquake at some point, because you see it sort of tilted to the left about 5 degrees. And yes, I added the lighting, but I didn't add the guy. The guy was there gazing out of this window in a sort of enigmatic style. And I liked all these chairs as well. First of all, it was the chairs that I was looking for. I mean, that attracted my attention. Just rows of empty chairs in a church. Could be some sort of comment there. But then I saw this guy looking out of the window with all the glorious stuff around him. And that's the shot I got. I like it. I like it. Without the human, it would have been kind of empty, which is why I said it's quite unusual for my shots not to have a human in them. So that is me. Now, I'll tell you what, I'll give you one more and then we'll go over to your stuff. So this was a pretty straightforward picture of a leaf in my local park, wandering around. There was a leaf, I shot the leaf. And, you know, you wouldn't know that it's Paris or anything. It wasn't Paris, it was the suburbs where I live, but that counts for me. You know, I'm sure Lady Eiffel was smiling on this leaf. And I actually had this kind of communion with nature. I felt it was like a hand. Some of them, they literally do have almost 5 fingers, as you can see behind. This one, it was pretty much a long middle one, two on the side. It had veins, it looked weathered, and I felt it was quite a nice sort of, well, I actually wrote something about nature holding out its hand to man, if man wants to sort of repent for his sins against nature, which he's part of anyway. So that made me ramble for a while anyway, a few lines. I'll come back to my other 4 since last time we met, and in the meantime I will go to the weekly theme, which was Must Be Rusty. Must Be Rusty, and rusty they were, the photographs you sent in. Absolutely amazing. We had 59 comments, and a good few of those were amazing photographs. So let's check them out. If you want to give me a theme, we've got a thread for themes, which is really cool. So I can have a look at that. But if a theme does just come to you like that. Otherwise, let's look out for our favourites and let me know which your favourites are as we go through. Because I always pick about 3 favourites and 3 which I also couldn't put in the 3 favourites, but I still want to post. So, I'm looking for between 3 or 6 photographs that are just going to whack me between the eyes. Just amazing. So I'm looking for that. This is from Teresa. Found it. It's quite big there. I don't think I need to load it. Found when walking the dog to the dog park in Chicago. Essential details there. It's basically a post holder for street warning signs. Okay. Indicating crosswalk ahead. We call that a zebra crossing in Britain, or possibly a pedestrian crossing. But you call it a crosswalk. I'm not going to argue. Or to slow down. I thought it was interesting. They went to the trouble to not only paint them yellow to match the warning signs, but also to have them imprinted with Chicago. And that is a beautifully rusty Chicago, isn't it? That's gorgeous. That's grunge at its greatest. Gorgeous. Look at those. Look at the nuts and bolts as well. Look, this one on the left, you've got the nut, and on the right, the nut looks like it's absolutely disintegrated, and there's almost no nut left, and a bit of the screw, and that's gorgeous, beautiful. Okay, from Angela. Got Dorothy saying, I'm going out to take photos of Christmas things. Okay, yeah, go for it. I don't know if you'll find rusty Christmas things. Thomas saying, hello, I'm here with my smartphone. Hello to all. Hello, Thomas. Nice to have you here. Hello, Dorothy. Lights in the streets. Christmas lights. Yeah, it's always lovely, isn't it, to take photographs of the Christmas lights. Oh my God, we're coming on to, I think, one of my all-time favourite photographs. Ooh, check out that rust. My hubby's nephew owns a blacksmith lab. He makes railings, curtain rods, lamps and much... Lamps? Anyone perking up there? And much more stuff from iron. In his yard I always find amazing material that catches my attention for photography. I don't blame you, look at that. That's stunning. Stunning, just sort of semi-abstract photograph. Incredible. My photographs today are zoomed in on rusty irons. Love it. Those textures to die for, aren't they? And right next to that was this one. And this one blew my mind. Just incredible. I'm not quite sure where all those colours come from. But there's sort of a combination of rust. So I'm getting the yawns again. You're not boring me. A comment from Alice. We'll look at that in a second. It's a crazy combination of rust, peeling paint, disintegrating wood, possibly some sort of stone in not very good repair. That's just great. Those colours are just nuts. Love that one. Alice said, you said lamps and my hair went straight up in the air. Yeah, I know, I did it on purpose. Some minutes ago I was thinking about some rusty shots I could have posted, also in here. But who is coming too late? The life will not. Ah, okay. Sounds like a German expression. Who is coming late? Life will not. Yeah, I get what you mean. I think there's an expression in English which is l'esprit d'escalier, which doesn't sound very English, does it? I'm sure I learnt it in English. L'esprit du escalier. It's a wonderful expression. And it means l'esprit is like the mind, the coming to the mind, and l'escalier is the stairs. And basically, you were in a situation, someone said something, and you kind of just mumbled or just felt embarrassed or something. You leave. You're going up the stairs to leave or whatever. Then you have the brainwave. Then you have the ideal retort. But it's too late. Yeah, so don't worry about what you could have said, because we could have said a lot of things, to be honest, couldn't we? Could have posted a lot of photographs. As it is, we posted these ones. Angela again. This is just ridiculous. I don't know what's going on here. She must have played with the colours, but still. It looks like it could be the view of some sort of salt lakes from above. Some sort of constellation. It's just crazy. Rust. I mean, that could easily go on a wall. Well, actually, it wouldn't be a very relaxing wall. What about a computer desktop? And another one from Angela. We're looking at... this must be... Is this the one you showed us before? Yeah, look, you can see those lakes and stuff that I was seeing. And this is her front door, folks. Just let's just have a moment's thought and possibly silence for Angela's front door and the condition she has to live in today. But you know, she does what she can with what she's got. And this has just gone rusty since she broke her knee and has been sitting there and didn't manage to paint it. What did she say? I approached the cell phone very close to various points in this corner with the irons. Vespina says, this looks like my skirt. I'd like to see the skirt, actually, to be honest. Which skirt? Help my memory. These rusty materials are in Milto's yard. Remember Milto's who made your curtain rods? Actually, this is a discussion that we're not invited to between Angela and Vespina, so I'll move swiftly on. Before I reveal something. Angela again? Again? Come on, folks. Did anybody else but her post? She post? Very interesting. Something really weird has happened with the background there. This is this kind of weird bit of blur there, weird bit of blur on the edge, strange things happening. So what I think she's probably done is maybe used portrait setting on her iPhone, or maybe the equivalent on a non-iPhone phone. There are other iPhone imitations available, and it's done weird things with the focus, trying to work out why. It thinks in portrait mode, it thinks it's looking at a face, and it makes the background fuzzy. So I think it must be programmed to look for sort of ears and things to where to draw the fuzziness. And this is probably like no human it's ever seen before. Great shot. And another detail. Then we'll get on to somebody else. See, this could go on a wall. It doesn't have to be, I'm not saying it isn't, it doesn't have to be sort of perfectly anything at all. If it's different, if it's really in close, it's detailed, it's sharp, it's nautical, all of this is great stuff to put on a wall. Just makes you dream a little. Now we're getting onto something that isn't angular. This was me. This is what started it all. Maybe my son's local station. And I just loved the two guys that I saw, and I had this kind of fantasy where I imagined that there must be an artist who paints a commissioned model to pose in all the, the different positions they need people to pose in. Like this one here, this guy must have been asked to stand on one leg whilst being painted. And the rust is pretty cool. Right, Dorothy, rusty or destroyed by my fire the other day. So I think that's the inside of something which is used for having fires. That's delicious texture. It's actually very random sort of texture, isn't it? It's really abstract, because you don't actually know what it is. I think it's a cooking implement or it's a fire holding implement. But if you didn't know that, it's just pure abstract. But you can still see things, you can see sort of round shapes here. There's obviously a line here, which indicates that there's two parts to it, or something happens in the bottom part that didn't happen in the top. There's a nice angle there, thrown off slightly to the left. Very nice. You could I'd have tried also with different angles on that curved line. Maybe you did, Dorothy, I don't know. Again from Dorothy. Beautiful study in form here. I guess it's railings with that delicious little bit of peeling paint in the bottom right there, and the beautiful curve. You could call it graceful. For me, it's almost slightly a little bit too curved to be graceful. It's it's quite a tight curve there that we're looking at. Beautifully filling the frame. It's like a second frame within a frame. There's nothing actually being framed in it. It's just fuzz with some nice dappled effects. And I guess the main point of interest is, could we imagine that this is actually almost starting to point down towards this bit of flaking paint with sort of rustiness underneath? Anyway, it's another of those sort of shots which you don't really know what it is as such. You wouldn't normally take a picture of this sort of thing, so you're forced to focus on the form. It's actually a picture of a curve. You don't have to call it, a curved bit on a bike, or a curved bit on a fence, or a curved bit on a body. It's almost just a curve. The curve is the photograph. It's a photo of a curve with a bit of juicy detail down there in the bottom right. This is clearly something, but again, we don't really know what it is, which is great, because it's this mystery. It's like some of those quizzes, those things, mechanical devices from yesteryear, and you have to try and guess what they're for. Can you guess what this is for? Well, she tells us it's a mechanical nutcracker I made. Sorry, it's not a she, it's a Rob. Welcome back, Rob. Haven't seen you for a while. It's a mechanical nutcracker he made in a 1980s high school machine shop. I remember the fun opening the metal lathe and milling machines. Wow. I remember our metalwork classes, and I do remember making some stuff in metal, but I mainly remember the guy being a complete sadist, the metalwork teacher. And I don't know if it was in jest or for real, but he would grab various wooden implements like a wooden wire brush or something. He would whack the kids with it. I don't know if it was really whacking or just play whacking. And it was like something out of the Dandy, the Beano, those comics where the kids would put a book down the back of their pants or their trousers before being whacked on the backside. I mean, it was just ludicrous. I remember the guy, he would enjoy seeing how small he could make the knot on your tie by going, I do like this. Not me, but the knot would normally be this big. He would make the knot on the tie about this big. And it was just weird. It was this kind of, I didn't know what was going on, whether it was... Those were the days when you could get whacked by, I'm not sure, it was almost the end of when you could literally get whacked by teachers. I think you still could, it was also still possible. But they had more sadistic ways of punishing you. I mean, painful. Like one of them, we had this geography teacher, and she had this thing where if you annoyed her too much, she asked you to kneel on the desk. That might not seem like that big a deal, but try kneeling on the desk, and then you come back to me after a few minutes and you tell me how it was. So that's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeruska, looking at the ceiling, and hey presto, I found this. The way you do. Good grief, what is it? A very, very rusty screw by the looks of it. That might have gone through the bolt into it at one point, but I don't think it's going out again. That's pretty amazing. Actually, I would have, in terms of the focus, it seems like the focus could have been a little bit sharper there. Maybe it was an incredibly difficult thing to focus on, or maybe it was a long way away, and I understand that. Having said that, the background is pretty fuzzy. This looks like it's in focus, the nut is in focus, whereas the bits on either side aren't. So that's a choice. That's a choice you can make. I think it's quite cool that the nut is in focus because it's the only thing that actually has clear straight lines. Having said that, because this bit here is really big, really close to us, and really textured, I would have been tempted to tap on this to make that crystal clear, which I think would have been really impressive, because the biggest thing I can see is slightly fuzzy. If you tapped on that, there's a good chance the nut would have been sharp as well, with possibly the fuzz kicking in around about the end of that thing there. Hi to all, says Thomas. Hi. Oh, hang on. Yeah, I thought you'd already said hi. Yeah, I'm here on my laptop. Maybe slower connection, but feeling much more comfortable. Good. It's important to feel comfortable during the show. I don't want anyone feeling like they're kneeling on a desk for 5 minutes or something. And here's another one from Yuska, another beautiful little detail. I don't know if it's the processing or not, but you've turned it a lovely sort of, there's no interfering bright colours. It's all the same soft beigey, orangey, rusty colour, which is great. With some intriguing lines, very soft in the background, wondering what's going on there. I might have been inclined not to put this absolutely in the middle to see what that looks like, because there's a big lump of bottom right here which isn't doing much. I would have been inclined to put this nut here, possibly more towards the bottom right, and see what that gives. I was going to crop it, but I won't. This is from me. And here's one from me. Guess where this was taken? Well, I don't have time to wait. That could be a bit of a downer. It was taken in a cemetery. I think it was Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. And Père Lachaise is an amazing cemetery. And in contrast to your average graveyard, for one thing, it's huge, and secondly, it has a lot of these. They're like little houses. It's on a hill. It's got ups and downs. It always intrigues me. It's like a city of the dead, because you've got the poorer quarters with the broken down tombstones. They've fallen over. They're smashed. They're in disarray. Sometimes the not the coffin, but the grave thing, the first bit that covers whatever's underneath is sort of broken or open, and you just look down and there's a sort of cavernous darkness down there, and then you've got the rich quarters. You're literally walking down rich avenues which are lined by almost grand houses, but they're just, they're the houses of the dead, basically. But they're not always in great form, and sometimes they look like this. You look closely and you get some amazing things to take pictures of. I had one of the biggest... Oh, Angela's here. Angela, we just talked about all your rusty shots. Where have you been all my life? Literally, the first half of the show was Angela, rust, rust, rust. And we're not talking about your knee. I think that's getting less rusty, isn't it? I had one of the biggest shocks of my life once when I was wandering through Père Lachaise, and I was looking into some of these tombstones, the horizontal ones, which had been broken. You could actually see through it, but there was nothing to see. It was just darkness. And I was looking down into one once, and all of a sudden, imagine out of the blackness, 2 eyes suddenly went ping. I got the biggest fright of my life. It was a cat. There's lots of stray cats in Parisian cemeteries, and can you imagine? From Chris, hope you enjoy the cowboys line dancing, even though they're a little rusty. That's a great shot. Are they made out of horseshoes? I think they probably are. That is such a cool shot. And what is that? Is it just a bit of fun, or is it a letterbox or something? Because normally these sort of things are functional, aren't they? Looks like it should be functional, but also maybe it's just art. That's really cool. And Chris again, peaceful. Full of pieces. Yeah. I like the way you've got that little cross in the middle of the green bit, and there's a bench in the distance. Peaceful place. Is it? Maybe it's an entrance to a church or a churchyard or something, seeing as it's a cross. How are your favourites getting on? What have your favourites been so far? Let me know in the chat. What are your favourites so far? You can influence the judge's decision, which is final. Angela, your pictures are amazing. Love the colours of rust. Yes, Angela, some of your pictures were really, really amazing. I think I've already said that. Here's another one from Chris. According to Chris, I haven't verified this yet, but everyone needs a rusty pump. There are parts of the towns that I live in, like this one, and where my son lives, and possibly even somewhere in Paris, where you've got these sort of things hanging around from yesteryear, and it's great when you find them. Most of them aren't functional. But in my town, in these outer lying towns, which are on rivers, and not necessarily, you've got these these strange things which slope down to the edge of the river with a roof over them, but there's nothing there. And it was for the washer people, sexually, politically correct there, the washer people who would be on their knees. This is a recurring theme, isn't it? Knees, being punished on desks with knees, having your knees broken, washing clothes on knees by the river. And this would be, the vestiges of these things have been kept around. So I love that. This is one of my favourite things to find, is old things from the past. And Faris is full of them. How about that? Does she say anything else interesting about that? Yeah, great to have those. Great, and for goodness sake, they must be preserved. These little nods to the past. So, favourites so far. Alice likes Angela's pictures. Chris says one dancer duplicated and added to rusty mailbox. Fantastic. Yeah. So, what are your favourites so far, people? Apart from your own, I guess. From Dorothy, my mailbox. I didn't get that it was your mailbox. All I got was Teresa using a fancy word that I didn't know, which was petroglyphs. Reminds me of the petroglyphs that are found in Utah. And Why isn't this sharp? Is it me or is it Dorothy? If it's Dorothy, there's no excuse that I can think of. And that would be amazing if it were sharper, actually. This needs to be sharp, unless you're going sort of strange, fuzzy sort of mood piece. Yeah, that is gorgeous colours. I love that when that happens. The paint cracks, the water gets into the iron underneath, the iron leaks and colours the surrounding cracks in the paint. Absolutely gorgeous. And in case you're wondering, petroglyphs, I can now tell you, are stone art on stone. Yeah, petra is about stone, isn't it? Petrified, turned to stone. And glyph is, well, you know, glyph, hieroglyphs, other types of glyphs. Okay, so it's glyphs on stone, symbols, paintings. And she gave us this link here, which led us to a page showing lots of these petroglyphs. And it's a thing, you know. There are places in the States, I think it was it? Where lots of, you know, Stone Age people probably, I don't know. Did they have Stone Age people in the States? No, there's Barney Rubble, isn't there? So there must have been. They did pictures on stones. And petroglyphs would be? Okay, Teresa. That's a nice juicy close-up. Love it. It's a lock, isn't it? Or a bolt going into a... yeah, I don't know all the technical terms. Lock and bolt? Lovely. Yeah, it's great when you get a close-up and you haven't got the whole thing. You've just got a mishmash of curves and lines and round things going into other things and holes and stuff like that. Wonderful. From Karen, my neighbour had a piece of some old farm equipment. Oh, farm equipment, sometimes it's intractable. No pun intended. It's intractable. You just can't work out what on earth they might have used it for if you don't come from that sort of milieu. He just has it because he thinks it's interesting. Other pictures will be other parts of the same thing. You can do a study. That could be a great thing to have on your wall. 3 pictures in a row of bits of a strange piece of machinery. Here we go. Super. I absolutely love it. There's a bit of cobwebs and stuff on there as well. Grime. Grime on the rust. Rusty grime or grimy rust. And here's another one. Wonderful. Very much appreciated. I would work on getting that a little bit sharper actually, Karen. I know that sometimes I think you have issues with your camera or something. Didn't you get a new fancy smartphone or something? Now this could be a bit sharper, just, you know, as a matter of interest. And that would make it stronger. You see these letters here or something on the side? I'd love to be able to read those. So, you know, I don't know if you're a bit shaky or, but, you know, just a little, it would be even punchier, even more impressive. Tripod, you know, to give this the value, the hard hittingness it deserves. Rusty stuff deserves to be pin sharp, so we can appreciate every single grain of that grime. Angela's saying thank you, Alice. Alice is saying thank you, no. Love the rusty pump. Dorothy's S curved piece of iron. Okay. Rusty pump, getting some love. A quote: 1,000-year-old petroglyphs doing a double take. Seriously? That's a line from a song? Just another song from Bruce Cockburn, Wondering Where the Lions Are. Is that the name of the song? Otherwise it's kind of random as a sentence. 1,000-year-old petroglyphs doing a double take. That's a song I want to hear. By the way, Alice, I know that song, and it's an old Smokey song. And at some point, it got hijacked, I think, by the fans who ended up, you know, living next door to Alice. And then the fans would go, for those of you who don't know, It's something like 24 years just living next door to Alice. The crowd go, Alice? Who the fuck is Alice? And the band seem quite happy with singing along. And they don't sing along to it. He doesn't even acknowledge it. And yet it's there, it's in your face. It's really, anyway, it's a thing. Sab, I like all the pictures. Oh, you're sitting on the fence. This time they are all great. I can't choose a favourite. Well, thanks for nothing. That doesn't help me much. Hubby's phone seems to have a hesitation. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Yeah, just, but it's something, because you love photography so much, I'm just letting you, I'm just pointing out that they could be sharper. And if you can make them sharper, they'll be much harder hitting. And they deserve it. That's what I'm saying. They deserve it. The subject is so amazing. Yes, that's the name of the song. What was it again? Wondering Where the Lions Are. I don't know Bruce Cockburn. I know quite a few people, but that's one I haven't got into. There's often a reason why I haven't got into someone, but I'll give it a listen, see what it's like. Oh, I have another song. Funny. We'll work on it. Another song. Okay. Sab. Who the Sab is Sab? What the hell? I don't need this grief. Sab. Who the Sab is Sab? Oh no, this is amazing. This is great. I don't know if I should say this is good after that last comment. Yeah, absolutely love this. Just, it's delicious. It's the sort of, I want to eat it. It's like candy, a delicious cake that I'm just dying to eat it with my eyes. Amazing. Cool angle, ridiculously amazing texture. You got in close, which does throw the background out of focus a fair amount. Yeah, I'd also like to see some other compositions on this. It seems like it's a little bit, I don't know. No, I mean, it's great. I'm just wondering what other possibilities there are. Because, you have chopped off the edge on the right there, and you chopped off the bottom on the left, the bottom left. You haven't chopped off this. This goes perfectly into there. I'd also like to see if you pulled back a tiny bit so that you actually hadn't chopped this bit on the right and you hadn't chopped this bit, just to see what that's like. Also, this isn't always easy on smartphones, but if you could really throw the background out of focus, because even though it is a bit fuzzy, it's still kind of getting in the way of the cross. I'd like to see the cross actually isolated even more, which means not having it chopped. Yeah, these are alternatives. There's so many different ways. I'm just dreaming, imagining other ways that I would love to see this. Yeah, that's delicious subject. Delicious. I'd go for get some more shots of that for sure. Oh my god! In the comments, there's another one here. Is it coming? Hope you have seen the birdhouse. Yeah, so do I. Was it in a photo that I haven't seen already? Question mark. Birdhouse. I'm not sure if I've missed a birdhouse. Okay, there's more. Now this is getting kind of abstracty. Oh my god, that's my thing. That's my thing. That's mine. I didn't believe it. I don't believe it. I haven't seen this. This is so cool. This is my little square. I was just thinking, what is it? Oh, someone's put a plaque on there or something, and then I realised it's my little thing, which has been adopted by Thomas. It says beauty on it. This is all in white, pure white normally, and because of the way Thomas has played around, it's turned into the similar colour to the cross. That's marvellous. It's an honour and very touching when I see the things that I've created living a second life, doing new, incredible, strange things, interacting in other people's lives, in other positions. It's quite a strange sensation, I can tell you. Did you say birdhouse here? Is there a birdhouse here? If there is, I can't quite see it. Can't quite see a birdhouse if there is one there. Maybe you're talking about another photograph. Okay, chugging along. How are we doing here for time? It's already 40 minutes of me blabbering on about photographs. This one doesn't have that much rust because it's bronze and copper. It's absolutely beautiful. But maybe the rake is rusty. Hope you can see why I was so fascinated by this subject. I'm trying to work out what's going on. Because this thing going down to the ground seems unattached to the statue, and yet the statue seems to be holding this. Is that been cleverly added or what? Despina's here. No. Yes. Yeah. Oh, the cropping. Yeah. I'm not saying it's not perfect. I'm just saying alternatives. But yeah, cropping is one of my things. I do wonder about cropping, and I say it to just make people aware of, cropping is really, really important. It's a wonderful way to make your photograph really powerful. And Despina saying hi Despina. Last shot from me. I'm just trying to work out if this thing here that goes down is part of the clever sculpture, which has had something coming out of it, or if someone has cleverly continued this along from the sculpture. I'd like to know which it is. And the sculpture itself is absolutely beautiful. Yuriska says, I like the colour and how the texture of the cross looks. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Yuriska. It's beautiful. Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm not sure what that means. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. I also don't know what that means. Yes, what? Because there's a time lag, you see. There's maybe 20 seconds or 10 seconds time lag between what I say and when you see it. So sometimes I've moved on to something else. Look through the whole of the right cross arm. The whole of the right cross arm. Through the whole of the right arm from the iron cross. I will do. We're going to be surprised, people. We're going to see something we hadn't seen. Oh, there it is in the top right. Did I not see that, or did I see it and there it is? How cool. So it's not a picture of a cross at all, it's a picture of a birdhouse. Silly me. Thanks for pointing that out. It's exactly that sort of thing which it's nice to discover afterwards when you hadn't seen it before. Rob's back with an old lantern. Oh, that's delicious, isn't it? As I was saying, it's eye candy. It's even got a wick which is sort of half burnt, and so many lovely details there. This is another case where it needs to be, as sharp as possible. Otherwise, you're not honouring the subject. I would say the sharpness seems to be around here. Normally, Rob is a mega pro on that. So, yeah. I like the fact that the treatment has made it that there's no distracting colours. It's all the same sort of tones of browniness. An old lantern, he says. And from Jean. Don't think I want to ride this bike with rusty gears. Yeah, doesn't look like that's been in service for a long time, does it? Hi, Despina. Love the photo of Thomas's sculpture. Okay. No, it is just... This is just not belonging to the sculpture. It's not belonging to the sculpture. That's pretty amazing then, because it looks like it's a pure continuation of the sculpture. That's remarkable. Very good. I love Thomas's cross. Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah. And again, Jean, focus. Let's talk about focus. It's not in it, is it? It's not focused. I wonder why. Be interesting to know why, because it really should be. Interesting to know why it's not in focus. When I say should, obviously, the photograph is your photograph, but I'm guessing, my sort of educated guess that you would probably have liked it to be sharp. That's my educated guess. I may be wrong. So just something to think about. And if you want to talk about it, I'd love to work out why it's not as in focus as it probably was meant to be. This is great, just photographs. Rusty old nails in our basement storage cabinet. Sounds a bit dangerous, you know, if you're just walking around and there's nails like that lying around. They're sharp and rusty, you know, tetanus. Kids playing. Maybe that's your husband playing. G, you got a husband? Not sure. Alice, first is the snowman we have in front of the house, or winter, on his way out. Oh yeah, he's seen quite a few winters, but he looks all the better for it actually. So much character on that sort of corrugated iron, made out of sort of scrap metal by the looks of it. Scrap metal Christmas tree decorations. Fantastic. And I was so lucky to be talking to you, I think it was yesterday or some past moment, and you showed me your Christmas tree, which is great. And you said that it's been going for about 40 years. Next is our backyard rusty chicken brought in for the winter, so he doesn't get cold, I suppose. A nice rusty chicken. It's turkey you have, isn't it, on Christmas, or is that Thanksgiving? Not chicken, so he's probably safe. I absolutely love this sort of art. Made out of scrap metal. You can see it soldered together. It's just wonderful. Great for garden ornaments, isn't it? This sort of stuff. This is sort of how I want my photographs to be. Sort of rugged, look like they've been soldered together, you know, bolted together. That's the sort of effect that I'm going for in my photographs quite often. And this is from Angela. Angela, you haven't missed all your photographs if you're still there. Oh, hang on, we've got something. Love this snowman. Thomas is saying, love the snowman. And the hen. Love the this picture of Alice. The rusty hen is beautiful. Getting a lot of love for the hen. I thought of about 3 different stupid comments I was going to make there, and I've decided to make 0 of them for once. A rusty fish in the river from a visit to town, Florina in North Greece. You know, it kind of strikes me that might be a bit of a problem for boats, no? Maybe the boat has to skillfully jump through the rusty iron fish as part of to amuse the locals. Is that it? I love it when random abstract art just crops up in places where you don't expect it. Paris is good for that. Just in case you'd forgotten, I live near Paris. Paris is my artistic motherlode, and the Eiffel Tower is my creative muse. How about that? What's yours? What inspires you creatively? Should we have, just before we finish, should we have a little something else for you to respond to? Do you have a place that inspires you, or do you have a muse? A muse is something that inspires you. It doesn't have to be a place. It's often a person, or it could be even a thing. I've chosen the Eiffel Tower to be my artistic muse. She, yeah, humour me. Traditionally, male artists had female muses, so, you know, it's not that far off. La Tour Eiffel, la, it means it's feminine. She's rather, you know, curvy. Anyway, I'll stop before I get myself into trouble. It could be an object, it could be your cat, you know, something that is there with you in your, even if symbolically, in your contemplative moments, and that you feel you're not alone on your creative journey. Do you have a muse? What would your muse be? Even if you don't have one, what would you adopt as a muse? A symbolic sort of source of inspiration. I love this picture of her. Alice, I love you and your pics. Very sweet. You're not alone. Such a nice rusty fish. Yeah, it's so cool. Really good. This fish is on the river is my favourite, says Teresa. What a beautiful picture with the colours by the river, and the rusty fish is getting a lot of love. It is, yeah. That might jump into my top 6 there. with competition from some of Angela's other pictures. Okay, from Florino. Oh look, even the wall is in a dire state of disrepair. Wonderful. Desmina, latecomer. Well, we can't deny that that's rusty. Very rusty indeed. Again, the focus is weird. Is it me? Hang on a second. Oh my God, they're all sharp. It was me. Yeah, I mean, the center of focus is kind of strange, you know, because, I mean, it seems like the bottom here is sharp and then it gets progressively less sharp, which, you know, strikes me as interesting. I would automatically have made the focus this round thing here, at least this metal thing. So again, interested to know why. Maybe it's just that you didn't get the focus right, and I'm being too polite, you know. But I'm aware that any photograph may well be exactly the way the person wanted it to be. So I'm not, you know, ever saying that it shouldn't be like that. But you know, another of my roles is to point stuff out. Like, did you really mean to make the focus the bottom fifth of the photograph? And oh, it's almost the last one from Hazel. Hazel, hello again. I think it's your second picture, and I'm happy to have you back. And it's a beautiful rusty thingy. It almost looks like it could be ceramic. Part of a pylon of the pier at Point Longsdale in Victoria, Australia. Oh, we've got Australia on the line. Come in, Australia. I like the colours the rusty tin had acquired. You're not alone. It's absolutely amazing. It's sort of, isn't it interesting? Because you couldn't get much more removed from nature than some man-made metal thing, and yet look what's happened. It's being reclaimed not only by oxidizing and turning back into, you know, crumbling, but it's got stuff growing on it. It's like nature's getting its revenge, adding beautiful green to the browns. Green and brown together is just, you know, isn't it such a wonderful combination? And as soon as you've got it's sort of the random patterns of the rusting and the random patterns of the growth of the moss or whatever it is. They come very close to each other in the end, don't they? That's something to contemplate, folks. You know, to what extent can we divide the living and the non-living world when you look at, if you change the colours there, if you'd made the green stuff brown and the brown stuff green, you'd be convinced that the rusty patterns were some sort of growth and that the green was just rust or something. Very strange. Two more comments, and they are photographs from Yaruska. Why did you comment on somebody else's? You could have put these as your own ones. It gets confusing sometimes, doesn't it? An old kitchen that I found. You found an old kitchen. I don't know where you found that, but wow. It's like it's rust holding the there's nothing but rust is what I'm trying to say. Goodness. So when something, rust is interesting, isn't it? It's a beautiful texture. But again, if the entire photograph is rust, then there's no subject. It's just rust, which could be nice for a computer background, or if you've got one continuous texture, you know, it's getting kind of close to I don't know, your grandmother's dresses or you know, kitchen wallpaper sort of stuff. So you need a break. However interesting the texture is, you need some contrast to the amazing texture. Otherwise, it's just like elevator music, which is all sort of with no contrast at all. You want some of the high notes. You want a change in volume, and we've got it because you've got the round thing, which contrasts with the rustiness, and you've got the lines. You've got lines. You've got an angle. You've got the round thing, and you've got some depth to the picture as well, because this is in focus. This is what I'm talking about. when I'm saying some of the photographs, it's strange. I'm not sure about the focus. The rust is clearly in focus, but it's even better if you've got something that isn't in focus to contrast with what is in focus. And that gives a sense of distance as well. You think when something is in focus, it's one of the things that brings it forward in our mind. We think it's closer. But then you need a contrast, and there is a contrast. There's something, it's darker, it's less in focus, and it's not, yeah, I think that's it, yeah. And it's off into the distance, it's shady, so lovely, lovely. And when you've got those sort of random elements, then it's up to you to move the camera around, move forwards, backwards, and you decide what the best composition of all is. And here's the last one from Yuruska. Delicious, delicious, rusty thing. Oh, look, it's so good enough to eat. People have already started eating bits of it. How about that? Okay, so there we are. That's almost the end of the show, except I've got a couple more things to show you. Fish on the river is my favourite. Beautiful fish. The rusty fish, the brown stones on the wall and the rusty trees at the back. Rusty, yeah. A lot of the colours sort of merge in, don't they? I used lens blur. You used lens blur? Okay. Okay. I don't remember. Maybe I went too close and the focus was lost. Possibly, yeah, possibly. Wow, I've taken a similar shot for my geometric shots. Taking it for the circles, but it came out for the squares. Okay. All right. I'm not 100% sure which one you're talking about as I've moved on, but I'm glad you're seeing things in that. Maybe this one. Maybe this one. And Thomas says, hi, 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 hello, Hazel 1. Hi, 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 hello, Hazel 1. And one final comment from Yuruska. I went to my uncle's house to look for old things. You found them. Oh, this is going to be so difficult. I'm going to really, I might even regret my choices here. It's so difficult to choose. By the way, what's the next theme? As I'm looking through these, what is the next theme? Can I quickly, I don't know if I can go to the thread where it has the themes. Please just throw a few themes at me. You can go to the thread with themes in there and throw a few themes at me. I do love this one from Yuruska. I love this pot actually, just this concrete base because of its colours. This is going to be so hard. Despina, Angular. I like the fish. I do like the fish. The only question in my mind as to whether I choose this one or another of Angula's is it's a picture of somebody else's art. That's the only reason I might pick another one. You see what I mean? Has she incorporated the art into an image which makes it her image with some interesting art? Or is it just interesting because the art is interesting? That's always my question. Similar to this. It's a great shot of a thing which is really interesting. But in the Creative Smartphone Photography group, another thing to bear in mind is how have you photographed it? It's got an angle, a non-distracting background, little line going there to the head, another line coming out there. So, it's a great shot. It's a great product shot, if you see what I mean. And it's beautifully taken, beautifully sharp. The snowman is great, the feeling of Christmas. When I saw your tree, Alice, I realised how nice it is to have that sort of thing. I don't have a Christmas tree. I'm a parasite in other people's Christmas tree infested living rooms. So I don't have them myself. So it's so nice to see that. I do love that. And the snowman is so cute. I think I'm going to choose that as one of my favourites. The rusty nails, the gears, Rob's beautiful details of old stuff, Thomas's amazing statue with the thing added from behind, which is just too good to be true. You haven't told me about your muses. Maybe you didn't understand the question. Let me talk slower. I like the water rusty photo of Angler. I think you're talking about the fish thing. I like that Thomas one. I like this Thomas one. I like this Thomas one. Yeah. Would it be cheating if I choose this one because it's got my thing in it? Probably would, wouldn't it? Beauty. Okay, love the wheels, the bits of the machine. Just going through these again. Do like that. Mailbox. You can't see it's a mailbox. I wonder, would it have been even more interesting, Dorothy, if we could see a hint that it was a mailbox? Because it's just texture. It's pure abstraction. There's no hint as to what it might be on. So, you know, it's a choice. It's a choice. But watch out for sort of random wallpaper syndrome where it's all just a pattern with no contrast of anything else. That's the only thing I would say there. The pump from Chris. Pump up the volume. The peaceful one. This is cute. Yaruska's rustiness. Rob's thing. Nutcracker thing that he made in Metalwork class. I think I'll choose that because of my nostalgic sort of story that I told you. Dorothy's lovely textures there. Oh my goodness, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to choose on live. I do love this. Just drove me nuts when I saw this. I think I'll choose that from Angular. It's just so incredible. And Teresa's thing. Boy, oh boy. Okay, I'm just going to choose 3 that hit me and not leave you, you know, just me huffing and not knowing what I'm saying. I'm going to choose this from Angular as 3 hard hitters. 3 hard hitters. I like this. I guess I'll take this as one of them. I don't know where it's going to be in the ranking, as it were. You're all winners, though, you know, just by contributing, just by playing, you are winners. And what's the theme for next week, please? I do like that with the cowboys. That's fun, funky angle. Love old things found in modern settings. And Teresa's is great. There's the details here. The cross. Oh my God, Thomas, you're so enthusiastic. I might. Plus, you know, you put the thing there, and you got the. You're so keen. You're so keen. Every photograph of yours just has something surprising in it. No pressure. I think I'm going to go for and Alice. So Alice's thing, just so beautiful, and Rob's thing, and Thomas's thing, and Angular's thing. My 4 for the moment. Right, Dorothy's hieroglyph. What have we got here? We got. Let me bringing Sab back. I like the 2 abstracts best, says Karen. The 2 abstracts best, okay? There were quite a few that were, you know, almost abstract. I do love abstract. You know, I paint abstract. But photography is a little different. I don't, yeah. But you like them, then you like them. I'm not telling anyone what to like. Dorothy and Angular. Okay, yeah, I can see those. Thomas the Cross. Didn't they used to call people like that in the old days? You know, John the Baker, and no John. There was a type of naming people where they named them by one of their implements. You know, like John the Hammer, or Pat the Bike. You know, they named them after an implement from their craft. Thomas the Cross. Sounds almost sort of religious or something. Dorothy hieroglyph. Alice, hen or snowman. Yaruska, you love those. Yeah, well, I'm choosing one of Alice's. Alice rocks. Is this Alice's rocks or Alice? Oh, yeah. I'm trying to remember if Alice had put a picture of rocks in. I get confused. And Alice. And not a lamp to worry us. Right, so there you go. That's kind of it, except not quite. So thanks everybody for watching. So it's not over. I'm going to show you my latest photographs, and but you know, feel free to go. So I need a theme for next week. If you don't give me one, I'm gonna choose it on my own. Taking a picture through a hole or some other opening of some subject you see on the other side of the opening, like through a hole in a fence or of a bird bath. Okay, so Thomas, you can't resubmit the one of the birdhouse. Taking pictures through things. So let me just get this right. A picture through a hole or some other opening of some subject you see on the other side of the opening. So basically we're talking interesting frames with something to be framed. Love it, Alice. Thanks. You're a star. You're the star of the evening. And enough said. Whew, we've got a theme. So let me quickly show you my last photographs. I think I showed you about 4. I'll quickly show you the other 5 in the middle of all my never grow up. What do you think? Good idea? I do. Yeah, so this one was from that place in Paris where they have these black and white things. And I got this cute little girl being a cute little girl. And the meme that inspired was never grow up. For some reason I did it, never mind the reason. Never grow up. It's just watch, if you never want to get old, just watch kids properly instead of worrying about they're going to fall off something, they're going to hurt themselves, or they're making something dirty. Just watch kids. And I've lost my homepage for some reason. What happens if I click there? Hey presto. Watch kids and see what they're doing, and you'll never grow old. And you might even grow a bit younger. That's my theory. So that was that. Maybe 3 or 4 more, and then we're out of here. Done that one before people fall off the other end. Told you about that one. And yeah, this is exciting radio, isn't it? We're getting there, folks. So start thinking about what you could take pictures through. I would say that often going out, walking around is one of the best ways to get these sort of ideas. Walk around and look for natural frames that you find there in situ. Now you might have to bend down a bit, hold your hands up a bit. If you see something interesting, start thinking frames and start thinking what you could see through them. Or you see something interesting, look around for something an interesting frame. I really like this one. It's so fun. If you take those 4 coloured poles away, what would you have? I was almost going to say boring. You'd have a beautiful classic view of a bridge, the artist's bridge, with the Louvre behind. How cute, how cliched. But this barge had these 4 huge poles on it, and this is the result. And I think it's wonderful. So cool, just to be able to make a classic shot different. That's what does it for me. So there's a couple more, I think. Couple more. This one, this is me with my son. He photobombed me. I was trying to do something funny with me screaming, 100% creative. And on one of the shots, one of them, he snuck in and with his big smiley face and did his thing. And that's the one I chose. Well, you would, wouldn't you? And I think this is about the last one from the last 7 days. It's this arch looking through to the pyramid of the Louvre. Through this arch with some folks doing arch wandering things. So that is my set of photographs from the last week. I think we've probably seen that one, haven't we? Saw that one last week. I probably bored you to tears with it. Thanks so much for being part of my creative universe and for letting me be part of yours. That's my catchphrase now. And a couple more questions, couple more comments. Thanks for that, Alice, again. Thomas says the 2 coloured signs on the bridge. The 2 coloured signs on the bridge. Are you saying that there are colours that I haven't spotted? Yeah, I know. I saw 1 sign on the bridge. Didn't see 2. Yeah, there are. Yeah, so there's a bit of red. You can't see it, can you? There's a bit of red and a bit of yellow, which is a bit of an echo of the red and yellow there, I guess, at a stretch. Okay, everybody. So thanks a lot. Loved being here with you as usual. We've got a theme. Take a photograph of something through an interesting frame. And I'll see you all in the same place, same time next week. And don't forget, I've got a whole ton of other stuff. If you want a similar show but on words, then it's on Thursday, same time, same place, same back channel. Oh God, who says that? And various other stuff as we chug through the week. I've got a really nice thing on a Monday and a Friday, which is at the moment it's exclusively me and Despina plus one or two hangers on. It's literally a Zoom call, live, non-recorded, for an hour or so, where you come in and chat and you share creative stuff, and we just hang out a couple of times a week so that we can just feel nice, getting to know each other better and having a nice little hangout a couple of times a week, if you like. You come when you like, anytime, doesn't matter. So that's it. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye, folks. Have lovely ends of evenings and or continuations of days. And happy